The Milkomeda team have launched a brand new feature, and that is wrapped smart contracts. And this brand new feature allows anyone in the Cardano ecosystem to connect their Cardano native wallet to applications, dApps that are built on their EVM-based chain. Really super exciting. And the Blueshift team, with their innovative cross-chain portfolio-based DEX, have integrated wrapped smart contracts onto their decentralized exchange. And this tutorial will take you through the entire process of how to perform a swap. It will guide you through the process and then provide liquidity onto the DEX itself and have some of these particular LP tokens from the Cardano index. So it's really exciting and really innovative way to get into an index fund, which is a representation of the Cardano ecosystem. So if anyone really wants to support and see the Cardano ecosystem grow, this is a fantastic way of going about it. So let's get into the tutorial. Now, this is the DEX itself. So you can get to it at app.blueshift.fi. And the very first thing that you need to do is ensure that you've changed your DEX settings to the Cardano chain itself. Here you can see the other chains that the DEX is integrated with: Milkomeda C1, Milkomeda A1, Carver, and Polygon. So make sure you've selected Cardano. Next is to actually connect your wallet. In this case, I've got to Eternal, but there are other options as well. You also have the option of Flint and Typhon. In this case, I'm going to connect with my Typhon wallet. Now, the very first action that I'm going to perform is swapping some ADA for some Blues tokens itself. So I am on the swap screen here, and I can choose the particular token that I'm swapping from. I'm going to keep it as ADA, and in this case, I'm going to keep it as Blues as well. But you do have the option to change to other Cardano native tokens that are bridgeable between the two ecosystems. So there's Cornucopias, NMaker, Wi-Fi, and of course Blues. So let's select Blues here. I'm going to type in 10 ADA worth of Blues, and that will do the calculations of how much Blues I can get. So I get 77 Blues here. The order details will let you know exactly what's going on in this process. The bridge fees, the bridge lockup, and the EVM lockup, which are all refundable in this process. So everything there looks good. And now this is going to take you through a multi-step process to bridge the assets over to Milkomeda, perform the swaps over on Milkomeda side, and then bridge them back to your Cardano wallet. So let's begin that process. So I'll click on swap, check the details again, everything looks good, and I'll click on swap. Now this will initiate that bridging process. So you can see the 4-step processes here. So it will send the tokens from Cardano to Milkomeda, and my wallet has just appeared to sign this transaction. So let me just sign this transaction, and away it goes. So then after that, we will need to sign a swap on the Milkomeda side, and then we need to approve that transaction on the Milkomeda side for approving the Blues tokens. And then we do another signing of the transactions to send those tokens back from the bridge, via the bridge, back to the Cardano side of things. So this does take a little while, and we'll step through it as we go. Okay, and we have a bit of progress here. So now it's moved over to the swapping ADA for Blues part, and my wallet is now asking for another verification transaction. So I'll just sign that, and then it will go and move to the next step to approve the transaction and then go from there. Okay, so now I need to sign the transaction to swap the Blues. So it's been bridged over. Let me just sign that. Now this is doing the transaction on the Milkomeda side and assigning the swap. Then after that, we get to approve the Blues. So I have to sign another transaction. So we're just about to approve it now. So again, I have to sign that process. So now that has been swapped. It's been approved on the EVM side of things. And now it's in the process of sending those tokens back and unwrapping them and sending them to the Cardano side. So once again, I'd have to sign that particular transaction. And then all I have to do is wait for the tokens to be bridged back over. And there we go. So that final confirmation has sent the tokens to my Eternal wallet. So I can close that, and we are done. And I can see my balance here. It's detected my wallet has gone up. So it was, I think it was 170 something before, and now it's gone up to the 233. Okay. So let's close these notifications here. Now, the next part of this tutorial is I'll show you how to provide liquidity to the DEX, to the Cardano index to be exact. So to do this, we'll click on invest and then portfolios. Now, the only portfolio we'll be able to interact with on the Cardano side of things with wrap smart contracts is the Cardano index, and that is because it is made up of those Cardano native tokens. So here you can see the Blues, Wi-Fi, EndMaker, and Copy tokens. So let's click on the Add Liquidity button here, and the key thing here is to actually add in the amount of balance in terms of USD that you want to provide to the particular portfolio, in this case, the Cardano index. So here I can type in, let's go max, and it will automatically pull in any of the assets that you have in your wallet to make up that maximum amount. So I have Wi-Fi, Blues, EndMaker, and Copy in my wallet at the moment, and you can see it automatically pulls in those assets and allocates that to make up that total of 15.77 US dollars. Now I can make this total lower, so I can reduce this to 10 US dollars. Let's go unselect this and then tick which tokens I want to provide. Now, it's really important to take note on the interface here that there is a little warning here. Cannot be provided without loss. Cannot be provided without loss. So if I've decided to provide only Wi-Fi and Blues, I'll be in a better position to do so because I wouldn't suffer from price impact. And you may be wondering how's this work. So I'll click on back and go back to this interface here. And each one of the tokens has a target weight ratio for this portfolio. So the index will always try and aim to have a certain share of the portfolio. And here we can see the target is 25% for each one of these. Now there are a couple of tokens here that are over that 25% threshold. So it's not desirable for the index to have more of these tokens. In this case, the EndMaker and Copy. You can see here, Copy is at 25.14 and EndMaker is 25.13. So if I increase that balance, that share, by adding more tokens in, I'll suffer from a bit of price impact because it's not a desirable token at the moment. But you can see here the Blues and the Wi-Fi is a desirable token because it's under that target balance weight. Okay, so I've set the value to 10 USD that I want to add into this particular index, and I'm going to select the tokens I want. So because the EndMaker and the Copy tokens do have that price impact effect there because they're over that target threshold, I'm just going to click on Blues and then Wi-Fi. I'll let it do its calculations. There we go. So $10 worth, 10 USD worth of the tokens. It's 218 Blues and all my Wi-Fi balance. So there's a little bit left over from this particular trade. So I'm going to click on Add Liquidity. Everything there looks good, what I saw in the screen before. So let's click on the Add Liquidity button. And now this is going to step me through the process again. So now it's going to bridge both of those assets over to Milkomeda and then add them into this particular liquidity pool. So I'm going to sign this transaction. There we go. And it's just going to take a little while for this process to happen. Okay, so it's asking me to sign it again. So I'll just sign it again here. I'm just checking. Okay, so the first transaction was to assign the Blues, and now it's assigning the Wi-Fi. So I'll just sign that one too. Okay, so I've pressed the Add Liquidity button, and now I'm just waiting for this bridging process to happen. So because I'm choosing to have two tokens being bridged over to provide liquidity, I do need to sign two transactions to make that happen. Okay, so now I need to approve the tokens. So I've got the tokens over and bridged. So I'll just sign this transaction to approve the tokens. There we go. So the tokens have now approved. And now I'm adding liquidity to the Cardano index. And I believe I have to sign another transaction for that one. There it is. So I'll just sign this transaction. Okay, so now that has been successful and I've finally put in the liquidity on the DEX. Now I did have to adjust my numbers a little bit in between there and try it again because I had a failed transaction. So if I withdraw now, you can see I've got 8.99 US dollars worth of tokens. I had to adjust it to $9. So there was a little bit of price slippage. I lost a cent in terms of liquidity provisioning, but now here I can actually withdraw my assets as well. So now I can click on max, and now it will give me the tokens back where I will not lose my value due to price impact. And like I said before, the Blues and the Wi-Fi tokens are under that particular threshold, whereas Copy and Endmaker are over the 25% threshold. So in this case, they're giving back to me the 2 tokens here. Now I can, if I really want a particular token, such as Wi-Fi, force the process to do that, but I do have a little bit of price impact. And you can see here in the bottom here, I have a loss of 3 cents in that process. So if you're wanting a particular token back, you can, and it does allow you to do that, but there is that price impact that you do incur. So if you are more so into getting tokens that are a part of the index, you can pick and choose which ones you want. In this case, I'll highlight the Endmaker and Copy, so I don't get any price impact, no loss there. And then I can go withdraw that process, which is a very similar process to providing liquidity, just in reverse. And there we have it. We now have successful swaps on the Blueshift DEX, as well as providing liquidity onto the Cardano index itself. So if you have any issues, if you do want to step through this or get some support, please join our social channels on Discord or Telegram, and you'll be able to reach out to the team there, and we'll be able to help you through the process. If this is your first time using anything like this, I know it's quite new for a lot of people, so we're always there to help you out. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the Blueshift YouTube channel here. We will provide you with a lot more news, updates, AMAs, and tutorials on DeFi and how to use our DEX.